What's up, everybody? Podcast in the studio today. My guest is going to be Beth again. She goes by brain damaged Beth. So, Beth, introduce yourself. You were already on before, but if the viewers are new to you, tell us a little about you and why you are here.
Hey guys, I go by Beth, but it's brain damage Beth. If you guys haven't seen or heard, I do have um, cancer in the brain with a tumor. I have been battling it for almost a year now. Have had multiple surgeries and complications that have come from just battling the cancer piece. Um, I try to be like positive and quirky about it, just because it's just my life. I will tell you that if I go quiet, um, it's just because I'm having a seizure, and those happen often. Um, so those are always fun too. Not fun, but fun.
Right.
So I was the picture that I used was picked for a reason, because we learned after about a year, from like all of the radiation and the chemo that I continued to have to take, could affect our head, my head. And we actually learned that, and I met a bucket list. I've always wanted to be in a plane, and I was, but it was a life flight. um, that's one of the pictures that I posted was the lovely people that took me to the hospital, took that picture for me because I told them that this is a bucket list.
Right.
It was kind of fun. The guys that took me were like young and spunky, and so I was with it enough, but they couldn't take pictures with me. Um,
Okay.
but they were really nice.
Sure.
Um, like that whole situation was an eye opener. Like now, I sit back and I laugh.
Right.
Like during it, it was not a laughing matter. Um, so I'll just start from the beginning because you're gonna
Sure.
laugh.
Let's do that.
You're gonna laugh. Like you have to laugh. So I have my own room, and my parents live like or sleep like right next to me. Um, and I had gotten my toes done. Like every so often, like we go pamper ourselves. And so my feet were kind of smooth, and was kind of half asleep and got up to go to the restroom. Um, and I slid and I fell on the floor. And during those times, I was really weak and tired, slept a lot, had a lot of headaches, was just not in a good spot. And so I fell and I called my mom. She obviously was asleep. It was late at night. Called my dad. He didn't answer either. Called him twice, and I was sitting there like, okay, I guess I'll just stay here until the morning or they decide to
Right.
answer. Um, Finally, I decided to call my brother just to see if he had his light on, and he did. He had his light or his phone on, not his light.
Hmm.
And he answered, and he's like, I'm on my way." Called my dad one more time, and finally woke him up. And so by the time my brother got here, and my dad answered, I was able to get up. And so my mom, because I was very weak, took me to the restroom, and then got to the restroom, and my dad like got my pants up, all hidden, um, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna pass out, like something's wrong, like I'm gonna pass out. So I yelled, I'm gonna pass out, and then I like froze, like with my brother, like like half standing, half sitting, and I'm like something's not wrong. Well, we learned that I had a dystoma. I worked on that seizure. And so I fell over. My brother, who's a paramedic, knew what was happening. And so got me to the side and was like, no, we need to call 911. Like I was completely out of it, non-responsive. Um, like he was scared. My
Okay.
brother, who's a paramedic, was, scared. Um, was like, it was a big deal. Um, Side note, the best and ever like diet, throw in your face kind of reality check is having to be lifted by 6 guys. That did a wake up call for me because I'm like, shouldn't take 6 people to have to lift me. Granted, I was dead weight. So we went to obviously, the hospital and stuff like that, and they knew us, and she sat us down, and said, you have massive, I can't say it right, but
Okay.
basically I have tons of spots in my head that were tumors, and that it was back here, and that's really bad. Like the doctor said, if we would have waited a day or two, would I would be gone. Like there
Hmm.
was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, and so they life flighted us, or life flighted me, to the normal people. Um, they did not agree of it. Thank the Lord. Um, they said no, it's from the radiation. So in
Okay.
my head will always have like little spots from, I explain it as like burn spots. You know how
Okay.
like radiation can like give you little burn spots.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Um, it's not my actual, like it's not actual tumor. But my head is like swelling. Um, the last time I checked, like the swelling of my head was, I think it was like 8 pounds. Yeah, like carry 8 pounds on your head. Um, and they like the last MRI that they did, they think that my tumor is grown.
Okay.
But they can't for sure address it because of all the swelling. So their the biggest hurdle now is trying to bring down that swelling. Um, and hopefully it doesn't like take long enough to affect the, if there is a growth, affect that too much
Sure.
where um like it affects the cancer.
Right.
So basically, like right now, I take a lot of meds.
So let me ask you, where was the
Yeah,
plane from? Was that from a hospital to another hospital or from your
yeah, yeah.
okay.
It was. I went to a hospital with my brother. Um, sorry, my mom stepped in.
Hi, Mom.
um, you gotta love the mom. She always has to check on me. So I'm sorry. What were you asking?
The plane. So
Yes.
from
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, they took me to the hospital here where I live. Um, and then the hospital that I've been here for I've been here so much. They know the KU, which is where I go for like, all of my head stuff,
okay.
basically. It was a life flight, and it was like even like 10 minutes. It was not a long time in
Okay.
the plane. Um, But like it was so funny because first of all, like I said, my brother's a paramedic and my brother's not emotional. He handles it differently, but he was terrified. Like, I will never forget. My brother never says I love you. Like, never like holds my hand, arm. He wouldn't leave my side.
Hmm.
Like that was the reality of this is an oh crap moment.
Right.
Um, and even to this day, like I love doing all of what my bucket lists are. you
Right.
know, he sat down when all of us family were together and it was like, okay, Beth, what's a bucket list that you want to do? And I'm like, what? Like, are you sick? Like, you know?
Right.
Um, and that's it. Like, I think that reality set in. Um,
Sure.
one of the things like we set as a family, um, and really talked about, and it's a new thing, um, is like we're at a year. It's a year in October. The 12th of October will be a year when I was officially told that I had the tumor. Um, we don't feel like we've made enough progress.
Okay.
And so many people are like, oh, I said this and it's this and it's that and it's this, and we never make any headway. And so we're actually looking into trying uh, Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
I think there's one not far from you guys, even if
I
I
think
remember.
there's one in Minnesota, which is
Yeah,
I think the closest one to us.
yeah. They're all over, and we've gotten a lot of people that I've talked to, say, hey, the Mayo Clinic here. We always get good results and vibes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's very intense because like I'll have to go there a lot, and like the closest one is 8 hours.
Okay.
So
So that's very similar because my buddy Paul, who was a guest, he was I think my second episode. He
mhm.
had to go. He went to the Mayo Clinic, I believe, in Minnesota, which is about 6.5 or 7 hours from
Yeah,
us,
not
for his cancer treatment. So yeah, so that's
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not far, but it is far. We go from 3 hours to KU now.
right. Sure.
But we were even talking about like my sister-in-law found a trial that's through KU that they're looking into and seeing maybe if that will help. And it's not that like we think KU doesn't take care of me because they do. They're
Hmm.
wonderful. Wonderful people. It's just
You
like,
need a little more.
yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
about me. Like, there could be people out there that, you know, making mistakes. People make mistakes all the time.
Hmm.
I mean, even my sister, who's a PA, she makes mistakes, and stuff like that. So that's our like next big thing because like you have to do this
Sure.
long
Right.
like questionnaire and like very detailed for them to get together and decide on everything, and then like you go up and meet them, um, and then they basically do see if there's a plan, um, or they can flat out tell us, hey, listen, like these people are doing everything that they can for you.
Right.
There's no things that they can change, and then we're like, okay, we're in the right spot.
Hmm.
Those are always normal for anything, any type of
Sure.
thing. But yeah, that's our our big update.
Nice. So what like our bucket list items? So like you said, a plane. Like is like do you make this list like actively or like does
Yeah,
something just pop
so
into your head and you're like I want to do that, or
yeah.
is it something like how do you plan that?
So I have a big list. The next thing that we're doing, I've always wanted to go to Branson, Missouri
Hmm.
and see the lights at not Garden City. I can't remember the name of it, but go there. and see the Christmas lights.
Okay.
So we were able to plan it after Christmas because they stay on until the new year. So we're gonna go through Christmas. All of us adults are not gonna do like we're gonna give the kids toys and um and spend time Christmas Day together. But then the day next we're going to leave to Branson.
Okay.
And we're gonna go do that piece with me. Because that was one of them. And then like the next summer, one of my other things is safari. Okay, obviously I'm not ever going to be able to go to like, Africa
Sure.
or whatever. So we're going to go to Florida and they have a safari at the Mickey Mouse place, whatever it's called. I
Okay.
mean, it's a legit
Sure.
safari. So I get to see everything out. So that's filling like a bucket list. Those are the two this year. Or
Okay.
yeah. But like I
Now,
do
can I ask a quick question?
yeah.
For you to travel, is it by vehicle or plane, or like, are you like, how does that?
Yeah. So I'm really excited because we talked to my neurologist because we do want to fly to Florida. And asked like what's that like my head is swollen and
Hmm.
um basically it shouldn't affect me, but she advised for me to take an extra medication
Okay.
that helps, like I always forget the name, but like it'll help with the swelling.
Right. Because
um
that's what I wanted to know, like between
yeah,
the pressure and then the stuff, and then
yeah.
are you prepared, like if you had like a seizure on the plane, like a mini one, is that something like you would tell like the flight staff about, that it's a normal thing, or do you have to like prep them in any way?
No, as far as I know, we don't. um
Okay.
like obviously, uh, like I'm always with somebody. um a actual seizure, I don't have to go to a hospital or anything.
Okay.
If I have the stoma, I have to go to the hospital, because that is indicating that my head is huge,
Okay.
like the pressure. But
But a normal 2 or 3 hour flight, you would be fine.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like I wherever I would go, like as soon as I get off that plane, like we would go to an ER if I had a stoma.
Okay.
Um, but I haven't had one. Um, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks after the we found out about it.
Okay.
Um, I had an stoma, but I haven't had one in like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months,
Oh, great.
which which means that this is working.
Sure.
So that's good. And I actually haven't had a seizure. Well, the day that my grandma passed away was the last time that I had a seizure.
Okay.
We're also learning um, that the seizures come when I'm really stressed, and heat.
Okay.
The last 2 or 3 times, I've always been hot
Okay.
or outside. And so we're really trying to watch that. Like, if it's a really hot day, I try not to go outside,
Okay.
or we plan early in the day, um, in hopes that I don't have one. But I'm also like stubborn and say, well, I'm just gonna have a seizure. Like, I'm not gonna
Right.
give up my life
Sure. Right.
just because it's hot outside. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you just know I'm gonna have a seizure. But those happen. I mean, they are what they are. Those are never gonna stop. Um,
Okay.
I've come to terms with it. Like, I'm always gonna have seizures. I'm never gonna be able to drive. Like, it's just reality, which is why I moved.
Right. So tell
um,
us about your new spot.
yes,
Since you,
yeah, that
so
was another.
congrats on the new place.
Thank you. That was another thing. Like, when we went through this, and like my parents, I live with them because I can't be unattended. And you know, being a 36-year-old who was constantly busy. I was a social worker. I got up at 6 o'clock and, usually didn't go to bed until like, 10, 11 o'clock working or, being with people or, hanging out with people. And so that's still in my blood, you know? And so we've come up with things for me to do and stuff like that. And it got really hard because of control. Like I literally can't control much of anything.
Okay.
And so we sat down with my parents, and their lease was up from their rental, and they're like, you know what? Let's look at a 3 bedroom. Let's look at a 3 bedroom. So that way I have my own space and it's mine,
Right.
like the office that I'm in right now is, you can kind of see the cow behind me. It's everything. Like it's my desk. Like I picked everything. I picked my whole room.
Okay.
Um, they have their bedroom and the living room and everything, and it has really helped with that anxiety of not having your own. Um, and also responsibility.
Right.
Like I still give the rent, and I still help more and have still responsibilities when I can. They also understand if it's a really bad day, I'm not going to be able to mop the floor.
Right.
I'm not going to. So it just gives me that independency
Okay.
that I've really needed. It was
Sure.
causing a lot of anxiety not having that. Which led to me being able to do like a Cricut. Like I love Cricuts, and making shirts and things like that. And those are one of the things that I'm learning how to do
Right.
before I put anything out there. I gotta learn. Um, I have to relearn, I should say, just things like that. Yeah. But it just feels so much relaxed, I guess you can say, with
Well,
that.
that's great, right?
Yeah, having parents that understand that is amazing. Like I'm so blessed to have those two parents that are even willing to do that. Like
Hmm.
there's parents out there that just wouldn't do it. you
Right.
know, they'll be their house. But yeah,
So speaking of the cricket, we were talking earlier about
yeah,
the possible fundraiser. What tell
yeah,
us a little bit about your
yeah,
idea and what you want to do.
yeah. So, I don't know if anyone else on here has ever heard of like Relay for Life, or any form of like, um, raising awareness to either cancer or other things. I grew up, my grandma had MS. And so every we knew, about May, June, we would raise money and awareness to MS. And then you would go and like walk. Like you would ask for money and, with this amount of walking that you would do. Those things don't exist anymore. And so I was thinking the other day, I would love to do that for cancer. Obviously, mainly my, um, tumor, because it's just not well known out there. Like it's a new, um, uprising cancer, and I would love to do that. And of course, like I was thinking, what's fun, what's cool, what's in now, and those color runs.
Hmm.
I don't know if anyone else, has ever experienced those, but you just you do a 5K or walk, whatever, and you basically get hit with colored balls, um, or any other types, and that raises money. We would obviously do the proceeds and stuff like that to Mayo Clinic, who does all of the research and all of the main, um, trials and stuff like that for people that have the brain cancer and other cancer like that. So that's something that like I really want to do, and make those cute little shirts, the little white shirts. So when you leave, you're covered in
Right.
color.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to do that, and we're going to work on that. So if there's anyone out there that kind of knows about that and has done it before or whatever, hit me up. So,
Absolutely. So what I'll do is obviously when this is done with the live, I'll share it out to everybody. I'll tag a few people that might be able to help you in the right direction. Myself included, I'll help. So if you need anything, obviously reach out to me. But
yeah,
we'll put it out there and see if we can get some people that can step up and help out with this and point
yeah,
you in the right direction and get you going on that.
yeah. Like I'm sure there's got to be like licenses and things like that and insurance. Like there's just a lot that I know there's probably you have to take first before you can do it. But I would love that. Like I would
Yeah.
even walk through it. I obviously can't run 5K,
Right. Sure.
but I walk through it. I've
Yeah.
always do.
Right.
There's
So yeah,
always
so we'll definitely do what we can to help you out, at least on my end of it. Like I said, I share out everything. I tag as many people as I can with stuff that could help you in this and kind of go along with it. And then obviously money's a big thing, right? So
yep,
people will have to donate and kind of help the cause, right, for the
yeah.
shirts and the making of stuff, and then the event itself, right, organizing it, and it's a lot of moving parts, but we'll see what we can do for you,
Oh yeah.
help you make this a reality.
I would love that. I'm gonna add that to my bucket list.
Yeah, there you go. We'll definitely make that happen.
Yes.
So now looking towards the future, you said going to the Mayo Clinic is definitely a thing. When you get there, do you know what happens like into the future after that? Do you have any idea, or do you just kind of listen to what the doctors say at that point and then they give you a trajectory?
Yeah. So my understanding is that when they get all of the information, all of the providers sit down and have this big meeting and come up with a plan. So either the plan is like, oh my gosh, like what is she doing? Like these people are not taking care of her. Let's make a plan. Um, then we sit down with them, and they go over it with us, and then we decide like, do we want to move forward with following through with Cleo, jeez, Mayo Clinic, or they can come back and say, hey, listen, like, we went through everything. They're doing everything that they can do. There's no like trials that you qualify for, kind of just keep it. And then that's what we would do. So it kind of depends on what they say. Um, my one of the biggest things that when we sit down as a family is that I said, that's a long drive. My dad can't drive that long. Um, we want either like my brother or my sister-in-law who are in the medical field, one, to dumb it down for us,
Hmm.
and to be able to ask the questions that we might not know to ask,
Okay.
and understand it better, and then explain it to us, like I said, dumb it down for us, and then come up with a solution. I've always said that my family, the medical field family, um, need to be involved in it because
Hmm.
they're going to be able to tell us more details and help us make the decision. I mean, my mom and I and dad will go listen to him and be like, "All right, let's go." When my brother or sister-in-law, or my sister can be like, "Whoa, like this is shady,"
Right.
you know. Um, that was always a plan, from the get go. Like as soon as I got diagnosed, and started doing it, I said, we hit a year and there's no progress. We're gonna check out KO. Why am I saying KO? I want to say chemo day, but it's
Right.
not. It's my brain damage day. But Mayo Clinic, like we've always said,
Sure.
and we don't feel that there's been a full progress, we will take up there.
Yeah, and obviously they're the upper echelon of treatment, right?
Yeah,
So if you're going through everything, that's kind of like in the hierarchy of this, they're at the top,
yeah,
right? They're the best
yeah,
doctors, the best in their field, the best, medicines and stuff. So
yep,
that's obvious why people go there, right?
yeah. And they're the ones that diagnosed me, so they obviously have a lot more knowledge, um,
Mm-hmm.
be able to like diagnose somebody
Sure.
with that diagnosis of cancer.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So now, what everything that you have going on in your daily life, are you okay like day to day? Do you just kind of take it as it comes, or like
Yeah,
are you in any pain or discomfort, or like is it kind of okay? Like
yeah.
how's like the day to day?
So day to day is really rocky. Um, there are days like today, you got an amazing day. Um, like my head pressure feels really good. Um, about 2 weeks ago, I was actually at the ER because it was so bad, that they gave me medication. Like they gave me a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, and like the next day, it was great. It just it comes and goes. Um, one of the weirdest things, which obviously it's me, so I'm not shy. One of the things that we did like learned is that there are days that I just go to the bathroom all the time. Like
Hmm.
I drink a lot of water, but it wasn't outside of, I didn't drink more water that day. We learned that peeing is how to get the pressure out of your head.
Okay. Hmm.
So that's good. So like my family has started to ask, "Do you pee a lot today?" Because if I say yes, they know that the pressure's going down. So it's a funny thing, like just weird things that you figure out. But yeah, like we have learned random weird things like
Okay.
that. So um but it just depends. Like the other day I was doing really good, like, unpacking. I was still taking naps, but unpacking. And then later that afternoon, I looked at my dad and I said, I feel like my head's going to explode. And so I just went to bed,
Okay.
um, took medicine, went to bed. Um, I do take more medicine, like if the pressure is really bad. Um, they have allowed me just to go ahead and take another medicine.
Okay. Now, are
And
there certain things that like can, if you feel like the pressure coming on, are there things you could do to relieve it, like lay
yeah,
down or ice or like just stop what you're doing and kind of just relax? Like, are there certain things you could do?
yeah, like when I feel it coming on, I just sleep. Like I go into my room and just lay down, watch TV, sleep a lot. If it becomes really bad, um, like I'll take another med. Um, but like one of the biggest things is that this also messes with your kidneys. And one of my fears is, which I've talked to all of the doctors, is I don't want to get through this. Like, I don't want to battle this and then have no kidneys.
Hmm.
Like, what would be the point?
Right.
Like I didn't really survive. Like, I just have,
Sure.
you know. And so I should take it a lot, but we're at a point where what's the lesser of the two evils?
Right.
Um, so I started with four. I was taking four of them, and I'm down to one,
Okay.
um, with the knowledge that, like, if it gets a lot of pressure,
Hmm.
then I can take two. And it
Okay.
a lot of like steroids and antibiotics and everything.
Okay. And now with the feelings, do they subtly come in, or does it go from like 0 to 100? Like you're just doing something and all of a sudden, boom, or does it like slowly build up?
So sometimes it builds up. Like sometimes it's a slow where you're like, like I can feel it, I can like feel it, but it's not bad. And then there are times like the other day, like it was great. Like I got things out, I got things packed, or unpacked, and like was feeling good. And then like right after dinner, like I'm like I can't function. Like my head hurts so bad and the pressure. So sometimes it comes on.
Okay.
Or sometimes I mean it could be me that I just ignore it because I want to get stuff done because I'm stubborn. You
Hmm.
know, that's me too. So you just never know.
Right.
You just never know sometimes. So I'd say like both. Like it
Okay.
come on, and then sometimes it can be like a slow ad.
Right. So here's what we'll do then, right? So we're coming up on almost 40 minutes.
Mhm.
We'll check in next month then, right? So we'll do
Yep,
this, like I said before, once a month. We'll pick a Saturday,
absolutely.
and we'll kind of navigate through your month, right? Tell us what happened, anything new, any transitions.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll build upon this bucket list thing for you. We'll try to get this walk for life or run for life happening. We'll see what we could do with the color stuff. I'll do whatever I can on my end to help, and we'll just do a monthly check-in then, right? Because
Yep.
it's something that we kind of planned about, and you're here, and I was live on TikTok last night, and I was kind of telling everybody like how we met, right? Like you hopped
Yeah.
on one of my lives, and we got to like chatting, and then we got to like messaging, and then exchanging numbers and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, now because we've been in contact so much, it's like we're kind of all on this journey with you now,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody in the One Fun Guy podcast family is kind of like they know you now, they know your story through me, and then so it was just kind of a really cool thing about how this developed and how we met, and now it's like we're all in this together, so it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and I try to keep my TikTok, like I don't do TikTok a lot, but I try to keep it updated with every like the pictures and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Try to kind of keep it updated too, because there's a lot of people that want to
Sure.
follow.
Right. So yeah, so like I said, after this, this video will be posted live on my YouTube channel, so it kind of lives there. So anybody who hasn't caught this video live, don't worry about it. It will be replayed on Facebook, but Facebook deletes the post after 30 days. So I created a YouTube channel with the One Fun Guy podcast. So all my videos live over there. So if you are catching this now and you haven't seen this live, don't worry about it. Just go over to YouTube. I'll link it in the video. I'll link all of Beth's socials with it, and then that video will be posted on YouTube, and it'll live in forever on that channel. So that's how we do things. So if you want to know more about Beth, I will link all her socials on Facebook. She updates them pretty much daily,
Mhm.
and you can check in with her if you want to, or check in through her through me is fine as well. And then, like I said, the videos will all be on YouTube under the One Fun Guy podcast name. So the link is in the bio, but it scrolls across the bottom of this live, where you can find me, and I will tag Beth and everything, and we'll see you next month, right?
Yep, next month.
All
Hopefully,
right. So
responses.
I'll wish you the best for everything now. If anything changes, obviously reach out to me, let me know. But we'll kind of plan this thing, and we'll navigate it, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right, Beth. Well, thank you for being a fantastic guest as always, and we'll see you next month.
See you next month,
All
guys.
right. Bye, guys.